Hey everyone, welcome back to another Tactical Tau Tuesday in which you help me solve a Michal Tal chess problem. In this position, Michal Tal has the black pieces, black to play and win. Please help me solve this problem. So, let's start. I have never seen this problem before. I have no clue who this is against. I just know that the black pieces are Michal Tal and it's black to play and win. It looks like first our strengths are these pawns. I wouldn't say this pawn chain, it's not the best chain I've ever seen. More so to that, the squares that these pawns have. That's a very nice square on f3 that we have, I like it. Our weaknesses is that we have low space. Our pieces are pretty much crumpled up here. Queen, bishop, bishop, they're all not doing so well. We need an outskirt of pieces here. So I would say something that like opens it up kind of thing. Maybe like some queen f6, queen e5 things like this, right? Okay, and what is material finally? So pawns are equal here. Pawns are equal here. And pawns are equal here. So pawns are equal, and we have the bishop pair against a knight and bishop. So I think that's the very light material imbalance that we have here. It's just that we have the bishop pair, but it's not really acting as a bishop pair because this position is pretty much closed. So the bishops are not as good as I want them to be. Okay, great. What else here? White's strength is that they have a lot of space. So they're very imposing in the center, and that's what's affecting that's what's compromising our growth as a position for black. So what I would suggest here is we counterattack here in this sector of the board because it's largely unprotected and it's super weak here. Like I'm looking at these weak light squares around the king and I am panicking for white. So let's look for checks. There are none. Let's look for attacks. There's one, bishop d7 here. Anything else? I don't think I see it. So no, we could trade queens, try to go into an endgame. I don't know. Okay, let's think. Okay, let's move to candidate moves because I think we've done everything for weaknesses, strengths, and material. By the way, pause the video to solve the problem. Okay, so I've mapped out our main candidate moves here. We have a few. I looked at bishop takes knight here. It doesn't look too good after bishop takes. Now white has the very nice diagonal, so I'm gonna X that off. I also looked at bishop d7, attacking the queen. Maybe options to trap this queen, but there are very no options because queen b6 is just a nice retreat square that white has, and I can't do anything about it. And especially on bishop d7, queen takes a6, and I have nothing here. So those two are X'd out. Now I have an interesting one, f4. I also thought of g5 first, but it's a bit slow. White gets into our zone very easily here. So I thought maybe f4. f4 looks really good, but I should calculate variation. So let's go deep into our candidate moves. Okay, so we're back. I really think f4 is good here. There are two variations, okay? We can go f4. We're going to calculate this in our head because we're doing it as if it's a classical game here. So f4, white has two options, g takes and e takes, because it's a pawn sacrifice. Let's go with e takes first, which is the variation I'm most sure about. E takes first, I have e3. And now I'm attacking both this pawn and this bishop. It goes in layers, Okay, so if bishop takes, we're deflecting this bishop off this knight, and we can take on c3, winning a piece. This would win. I'm pretty confident about this. And here, if f takes, I have bishop takes c3, forcing bishop takes, otherwise we're a knight up. And now I have queen takes e3 here, check on the king, and winning this bishop. I think that works well. Okay, and finally, if f4, e takes, and e3, if white doesn't take, so their bishop is attacked and they still need to defend this knight, bishop e1 then is the course of action. Well, then we have E takes f2 check. Bishop can't takes once again because it's hooked on defending this knight. And we have king takes f2. And here I have bishop check. And I calculated bits and pieces of this. So bishop check. If king here, we can trade on c3 and play queen e4 check, winning the rook on b1. I think we just take on c3 still and play queen e4. After bishop takes back, attacking this rook and threatening queen f3 check, winning this bishop. Now, rook c1 can still happen, defending this bishop on c3. But then we have queen h1 check, king moves, and queen takes c1. And now queen c8 here, and we have... Oh, this is dangerous. I was going to say rook f7, but it loses the bishop, and then check here, and then this loses. So we'd probably have to go queen takes c3, and then there's no more bishop. So that wins. Okay, great. So next, f4, g takes. This is a more simple variation, but I'm not sure of it as much. Bishop h3, and here we're putting the king in a mating net as we have kind of destabilized the king's defense. And basically here we're threatening queen h4, queen g4 check, and then queen g2 checkmate. Now I only saw one defense for white, f4, g takes, bishop h3, and I saw knight e2. And here after queen h4, knight g3, and we don't have check anymore, but we still have queen g4 with the idea of going queen f3, and I think white are lost here. So my final answer is f3. Let's cross our fingers, hope for the best, or not hope for the best, and just like succeed at this for once. So last week, in case you weren't there, I didn't get it right. I didn't get the solution right, so it may as well happen this week. But let's go final answer f4. And the eval bar seems to agree with us. Nice. Okay, should we check for the answer? So the lines are up. Great. So g takes f4, and here we have queen h4 first. What's the difference if bishop h3? Now queen a4, and now queen h4. Queen d1 comes in time. Wow, so I missed this. And so here instead of bishop h4, we have to and so here instead of bishop h3, we have queen h4. Queen takes d6, and now bishop h3. f5, so the queen can come back, and now rook takes f5. And now we're threatening rook check. So rook b8, understandably. Bishop f8 wins. Rook takes and rook takes. And here we're up the exchange. And we have a very good position. We can trade queens on the next turn. And so we have the second variation here after f4 and e takes, e3. And here after bishop takes, we pick up the knight as we saw. And after f takes, well then we still pick up the knight. Bishop takes, and then queen takes, forking. Oh, it's actually mate in 4 here. Crazy. So king g2, not even queen here to pick up the rook, just queen e2 check. This space is taken up. So king g1, and now bishop h3, threatening mate here on both fronts. And if rook b2, then we have queen f1 checkmate. Wow. Well, thank you for watching Tactical Tile Tuesday number 2. Hope you enjoyed and have a great one.
Go sub to the Chess Nerd. There we have the channel.